And so I will start by talking about the academic profile. And so as Laurel mentioned, I'd really just like to echo that the admissions committee takes a very holistic approach to reviewing your application. And so when we talk about the academic profile, we're talking about two things. We're talking about your transcripts and we're talking about your test scores. And so in looking at your transcripts, we really do look beyond just your overall GPA number. So we're going to take your transcripts and we're really going to do a deep dive. We're going to look at each individual course that you've taken and the grade that you received in that course. We're going to look at the quantitative courses that you've taken, and we're going to look at just your kind of progression over time as well. And so it is far more than just your overall GPA. And then for those of you who do not have or your university did not grade on a 4.0 grading scale, that is okay. We are very well versed in the different grading scales around the world. There are many universities that don't use a 4.0 grading scale. So don't try and recalculate your GPA to a 4.0 scale. That is okay. But one thing you can do for the admissions committee rather than that is to submit maybe a grading scale or a transcript key from your university. That can be really helpful to us. And so moving on to your test scores, I want to just say test scores are not everything. However, they are a pretty good marker for success in business school. So when you're looking at different universities and you're doing your research into different schools that you'd be applying to, I encourage you to look not just at the average or the median score, but really look at that middle 80% range, which you can see on the screen here. I think the 80% range will give you a much fuller picture of who a school is looking to admit. And so if you're taking the GMAT, I also just want to give one tip here. If you're taking the GMAT, you have the option to submit all of your scores, or you can hide scores from the admissions committee. So I would encourage you at Yale to submit multiple test scores to us because that can just really give us a much fuller picture of your candidacy. So for example, you may have scored higher on a prior exam in the quantitative section than you did in your overall highest score. And so that quantitative score can really help us when we're deciding on your quantitative preparedness for the program. And so moving on to the newest part of our application, which is the behavioral assessment, even though this is a piece of your application that you will not be able to complete until after you've submitted your application and paid the application fee, I do think it's really important to talk about it in the academic profile section. So the behavioral assessment itself was actually developed in collaboration with ETS, which is the service that does put on the TOEFL as well as the GRE. And so the behavioral assessment measures a set of intrapersonal competencies that are associated with business school success. And so this is a non-cognitive exam that the admissions committee is looking at just as another data point in your application. So this tool is really meant for the admissions committee to potentially maybe lean in for a candidate who may have a lower academic profile, but certainly has the markers to be successful in our SOM curriculum, as well as the potential to be and really contribute to the SOM community. And so what the behavioral assessment is, just briefly, it is a forced choice model, and it should take you no more than 20 minutes to complete, and there's really no preparation you need in advance of it.